foundation 51 years later. It's still the way that everyone who signs a beauty consulting agreement can make money in this business. Everyone has the ability to sell. Directors, wouldn't you love it if all of your consultants sold Mary Kay?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Amen.
If all of your consultants actually sold Mary Kay. I know it sounds crazy, right? But what do you mean? Trust me, directors, right? Trust us.
Yeah.
Not every consultant sells Mary Kay. But it's still the first avenue of income. Still super important and critical. Still the introduction of Mary Kay experience to a customer. So, do we still sell as a priority? Absolutely. But guess what? 51 years later, our priorities include more than just selling some Mary Kay. Team building is another great avenue of income, right? 4%, 9%, 13%. $50 bonus starting with your fourth qualified. Car, earning a car. To me, that's income. When you're driving a car, you're not paying for it. That's called income. I'm paying for a car out there. That is not income, okay? And so, your car comes from team building. That's income, right? And so, team building. Now, even greater than that is leadership. Leadership is an avenue of income that will pay you more than both selling and team building. And that's the one that our sales directors get to enjoy. That leadership income. Oh, those June checks can be nice and juicy, can't they?
Yeah.
Really big, really good, nice, awesome checks. Every month can be nice, great, awesome check. So that's the avenue of income at 50 years later that we really need to have as a top priority in Mary Kay, right? Selling, of course, team building, of course, but leadership is what we need more of right now at 51 years old as a company. Got it?
Got it.
That's why we did that contest to grow 3,000 new directors in a year. That's why we did the wall-to-wall leaders to double our sales director count in the US and Canada. Because we need leadership more today than we needed it 50 years ago. And so that's why you're here today, is because that's an avenue of income that most of you are not taking advantage of with your Mary Kay business. And it pays the most amount of money. And let me tell you, it's a different muscle than the muscle that it takes to sell Mary Kay and the muscle that it takes to team build. So don't think for a second that it's exactly the same. Leadership is totally different than what it takes to sell, have a party, and to do an interview and add people to your team. So we want to talk to you today about developing that leadership muscle. Leadership needs to become part of your culture, the culture of your business. Every company has a culture, and Mary Kay is a company, and we have a strong culture built on some really solid principles, and God first, second, third, of the go-get spirit, right? The golden rule. Those are part of the pieces that make our company what it is today. Those are cultural standards that we have as Mary Kay, the company. But guess what? You have your own company. Every one of you represents your own Mary Kay business. And so you've got to create the leadership culture within your business in order for you to start benefiting from the leadership income that's available to you through the Mary Kay opportunity. So first I want to talk about the purpose of the party. See, in 1963, the party was built around selling Mary Kay and making profit from sales. The second top priority at the party was getting booking so that you can have more parties. The third top priority in 1963 for parties was that you would get the names and contact information of people who were not at the party. So you could expand your influence beyond just the people at the party. It's called referrals. The fourth purpose of the party in 1963 was for you to possibly meet someone at the party who would join your team. Mary Kay has said, there's a new team member at every skincare party. So that was 1963. Now today, again, not building the foundation anymore, but looking for leadership. The purpose of the party is a little different. The number one reason to hold a party, if you're interested in leadership in Mary Kay, is to find the leaders who are at the party. That's your top priority, is to identify the women at the party who would make great leaders in our company. The second reason for your party is to identify the women at the party who would be great on your team. Because there's something different about a team member versus a leader. So we recruit leaders and we recruit team members. Okay? You love that? Come on, Holly. Oh, one for me. Holly loves it. All right? The third reason for a party is to get the names and contact information of people who are not at the party. Those are called referrals. The fourth reason to hold a party is to book more parties. And the fifth reason to hold a party when your goal is leadership is to sell some Mary Kay. And the reason selling is now fifth is because the product sells itself. Seriously, how many of you walked in a party, jacked up the party, and walked out with cash? Right? I know. I hear the stories all the time. Oh yeah, so, oops, I put the moisturizer on before we cleanse the face. Oops, this is the new Mary Kay. You can never be too moist, so just wipe that off and we'll put it back on later, right? Y'all have jacked parties up and still walked away with cash, right? Because the products are great. And guess what? You don't get to determine what the products are. You have no control over the products whatsoever. You can't control what they do. You can't control what they are. So why are you spending a whole bunch of time trying to influence something that you have no control over? The products are good, right? They work. Let the products do what they do. And you will sell some Mary Kay. And let's face it, honestly, there's only two things that need to happen at your party in order for you to sell Mary Kay, get bookings, and get referrals. Number one, the party needs to be fun, right? If you will have a fun party, people will buy from you, they will book with you, and they will turn over a list of their family and friends to you. Because they had a good time, they want other people they love to have a good time. The second thing that needs to happen at your party in order for you to sell, book, and get referrals is you can't be weird. Yeah, you're supposed to write that down. Don't be weird. Like, no one wants to buy from the weird girl, right? No one's going to book a party with the weird chick. No one's going to give you a list of their family and friends and their contact information if you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay? So if you can have fun and not be weird, you can book a party, you can get referrals, and you can sell some Mary Kay. The other two things are simply identifying the women who would be great leaders at the party and identifying the women who would be great team members at the party.
Yeah.
That's it, identifying. All right? So, clear as mud? Do y'all get that?
Yes.
That's the priority of the party when you want leadership. Right? Here's the deal. Selling a Mary Kay pays 50%, right? But it's hundreds of dollars. Team building in Mary Kay, as a consultant, pays you hundreds of dollars. But leadership in Mary Kay pays you thousands, and when you're national, it pays you millions. So would you rather make hundreds, thousands, or millions? Right? Millions. Right? So we've got to move out of the hundreds pool and get into the thousands and millions as quickly as possible. That's another reason why leadership is important, because it's just a for-profit business. We have a charitable foundation. This is not it. Okay? We're not here representing the Mary Kay Charitable Foundation. It's a for-profit business. And so, and many of you are leadership ready. You're leadership ready, but you think that you have to become some super duper great consultant before you can move into a leadership position. So you're actually struggling through the consultant process when really you're a great leader already. Do you all know Gloria Mayfield Banks?
Yes.
Gloria was not a good consultant. And when I say not a good consultant, I mean she held parties. She got bookings, she got referrals, but she's not strong at that part of the business. And so she had to get through consultantship as quickly as possible in order for her to stay in Mary Kay. We would have lost a Gloria Mayfield Banks if she was a consultant for 3 years, or 5 years, or 10 years. It never would have happened. Right? And so she had to move into leadership quickly in order for her to have a great Mary Kay experience. In fact, she missed debuting as a director 3 times before she debuted. She went through directing 3 times. But then when she did it in 1 month, she broke the company record. You know why? I said, Gloria, what happened that last time you were in PIQ where you went from not being able to make it through the process to breaking the company record? She told me, she goes, you know what? I was focused on being a good consultant. And then when I stopped focusing on being a good consultant and I started focusing on finishing the goal, it became easier. I said, how many parties did you have during that month? I don't know. How many interviews? I don't know. All I knew was there was a finish line that I had to cross, and I was willing to do whatever it takes whatever it took to get across that finish line. Some of you are like that. And you're struggling as a consultant because you're not consultant material. You're leadership material. And it's time for you to stop playing around as a consultant and start moving into leadership. Seriously. Then you know who you are. And so, now that we know the priorities, we're going to get into the right focus at the parties. You still need to have parties, but now you need to have them so that you can find the leaders who are going to help you change the world. They're there. Directors are at parties. National sales directors are in audiences at Mary Kay events. Directors are at parties. That's the reality. National sales directors are at audiences at Mary Kay events. And directors are at parties. So you should be going to your parties, identifying the women who are leadership ready. You know how to tell if they're leadership ready? It's when they open their mouth and introduce themselves. You can tell if they're leadership ready. You can tell by how they present themselves if they're confident enough to lead starting today. See, the number one quality that I look for in leadership is confidence. If she has level 7, 8, 9, or 10 confidence, she's ready to lead today. Everyone else below that, they can grow their confidence through activity. They're called team members. Right? Team members sign a Mary Kay Beauty Consulting Agreement. They come into the company, they go through orientation, they do different activities, and their confidence grows through the success of those small wins. But there are women who can sign an agreement today and be ready to lead today. And they're at your parties. right? And the way you know is when they introduce themselves, right?